South Africans and xenophobia. Are South Africans xenophobic? The answer is no. And let me explain. Because there is nothing wrong with demanding law and order. South Africans just want law and order. But then there's this whole confusion of saying, oh, South Africans hate other African immigrants and they want them out, and all these other stories that are being created around it. Here is exactly what most people are not understanding. Also, South Africans themselves don't really understand what's going on here. You see, most illegal immigrants in South Africa that are coming from African countries are coming from banana republics with completely dysfunctional governments and really shitty countries and dysfunctional shitty cities. So when they look at Johannesburg, CBD, the way it is right now in its shitty state, they don't see anything wrong with that. And then when you come out and say, oh no, we think there's something wrong with what you're doing here, the type of businesses you're running, there's no order, you're not accountable, and you're making the streets really look dirty, they think you're hating because they have never really known order. And one of the mistakes that the government of South Africa has done, this is also a problem in Europe right now. They let immigrants from all the broken countries, they let them in their country without any formal training of how they should be conducting themselves whatsoever, or at least a test when they're applying for a visa or something like that. And now this has created this bigger problem. And it's so unfair right now that people can look at South Africans and blame them of xenophobia when there is clear evidence of pressure in the public service, from the hospitals, from the schools, from pretty much everything. Because what happens is most of the illegal immigrants, they benefit from the public service, for all the public services, but they contribute very little because they are unaccountable. They're not in the system. So they take all the good stuff, and then when it's time to pay up, they don't really participate in the paying stuff because they're in this gray area where they can choose to participate in the economy legally. They can also just choose to opt out. And this gives them a very unfair advantage. But there is this problem in Africa where you're not supposed to call out problems when they appear simply because of skin color. There's this whole stupid Pan-Africanist narrative that people like to parrot. Oh, but these are our sisters and brothers. Yeah, sure, but they also have to still be accountable. You cannot just watch cities being destroyed and crime rising, and then you just have to keep quiet simply because they're your brothers and sisters. Let me tell you something also. You have to understand that skin color is not enough for creating some form of alliance. The average South African, the average black South African has a lot more in common with a white South African than they have with, let's say, a black Congolese person. Culturally, of course. So let's not use race as some form of a basis to create an alliance that is not compatible at all. There's a lot of incompatibility between South Africans, locals, with immigrants that come from other countries. And if people want to live in South Africa, I think or in any other country for that matter, you move to a new country, you conform to the norms of that country. You don't expect the people in that country to conform to you. And then also, and people say, but they don't give the same energy to white immigrants. Yeah, of course, because of proximity. When they're walking in Joburg CBD, in its shitty, filthy state that it is right now, who do you see they're vending on the streets pretty much in all major cities right now in South Africa? Who do they see they're competing the jobs with? In their neighborhoods, who are the people that they live with? The majority of people that live in townships. Their neighbor is not some white person, right? They're competing for resources with the next African immigrant. So of course, people will point out to the things that they find concern with. Who is whoever is peddling drugs that they know? It's more likely an illegal immigrant from an African origin. We should not shy away from these problems. It's just reality and we have to deal with it and get it fixed. But this mindset of trying to hide away from problems is exactly what even the South African government itself is suffering from. They don't want to address the hard stuff. There are countries or there are nations that are creating more problems than others. There are certain crimes that's more prevalent in certain nationalities than others. These are real and they need to be addressed. So millions of immigrants live in South Africa. They live perfectly fine. But obviously when there's a lot more stress economically, unemployment, you will see more and more outrage like what's going on right now. But on average, South Africans aren't xenophobic at all. This same thing is happening in Europe as well. People are starting to complain about illegal immigration because of all the problems that it's creating. The problem is illegal immigrants take the same cultures and customs that is responsible for destroying their own countries, and they like to import it into the new countries that they move into. I think that is a wrong move, and it needs to be called out. South Africans are not xenophobic. They just want to demand law and order, and they want to live in a functional country.
Yeah, everything that is happening in South Africa right now, I will only blame one country for it. The reason why South Africans are chasing other foreigners to go back to their country, or the reason why South Africans are after their own blacks, it is at the result of only one country. I'm telling you. It is at the result of only one country called Nigeria. Because Nigerians are some kind of human beings. They whenever they find themselves in your country, they come and inject negative vibes. Nigerians, about 80% of Nigerians are carrying poison. They are poisonous. So the moment they find themselves in your country, then you need to get ready to be affected with their bad attitude and with their bad character. You see, a lot of people are complaining, talking about South Africans, why South Africans are chasing other blacks to go back to their country. Imagine giving you the opportunity to stay with me, or giving you a place to sleep. After giving you a place to sleep, you will come and sell powder for my children to take, and so that you will destroy the life of my children. Or imagine giving you a place to sleep, and at the end of the day, you will come and tell me that I'm lazy. I don't like work. I'm lazy. Are you not provoking me? Are you not insulting me? You see, everything that is happening right now in South Africa, it is at the result of Nigeria. Yes, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, the reason why South Africans are chasing other foreigners to go back to their country, it is because of Nigerians. 80% of the things that is happening right now, it is from Nigerians. Because Nigeria, wherever they will go, they want to destroy things. They want to bring chaos. They want to bring confusion. They will always send their negative energy in that particular place. I'm telling you. So you people should allow the South Africans to do what they are doing, because it has overwhelmed them. It has overwhelmed them. They cannot keep it for a long time. They cannot sit down for you to come to their country and come and destroy the life of their youth, to destroy their generation's life. You understand? So those of you that you are insulting South Africans, because it has never happened to your sister, because nobody has given you, your sister or your brother, a drug to take it, and that drug have not destroyed your own brother or your own sister, you will never understood, or you will never understand why these South Africans are doing what they are doing. The HIV everywhere. Nigeria, they are full of HIV, and they are selling it. They are using HIV, destroying people's life, powder to destroy people's life, assured life to destroy people's life. You will never understand why South Africans are doing what they are doing. But if you sit down and you analyze things, you agree with what the South Africans are doing. Messi, a time is coming, and some of you that they are looking down and they are talking down on South Africans, you will understood and you will understand why South Africans are doing what they are doing. Because the pepper has not touched your eyes. For you not to feel how the pepper is. Sit there and insult South Africans. Sit there. The day they will destroy your children, that is when you will know. I said Nigerians are the reason why South Africans are chasing other blacks to go back to their country. Because everywhere Nigerians find themselves, the only two things that they know is to do ashawo, is to sell powder. Yes, that is the only things that Nigerians they know.
The South Africans took deportation way more serious than MAGA did because the South Africans are not playing. This morning I was scrolling and I came across this live and I was like, holy shit. I already understood that the South Africans were kicking out all the other African immigrants from their state, right? Or their country. And this entire situation reminds me of what was happening here in America, right? So the immigrants come here and they take jobs, they displace people, et cetera, et cetera. And the South Africans claim that they were going through the same things. But I'll say this right now, they took it way further than what we did, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, we had 2 deaths, 2 white people died over the ice raids and things like that. But the South Africans have 100% stood on business, whether it's going to be good in the long run or bad. They seem to have made their minds up and they're standing on business, right? They marching every day. Every day we get on the internet and we see a new video from South Africa, right? These people are dead serious. Their chief, I'm not sure exactly what his name is, but he's constantly on the internet explaining why they're doing what they're doing, or why they feel the way that they feel, right? So yeah, they stood on business way more than America did when it came to immigration, illegal immigrants, and the immigrants coming here causing chaos, killing people, doing this and that, right? They stood on business. They were like, no, you people gotta leave. You're not from here, it's over.
I woke up in the greatest country on earth again. I wake up every single day in the greatest country on earth. Do we have our problems? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But you see what unity can do. You see what unity can do. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, people are going to be talking about yesterday, the 30th of June, 2026. They're going to be asking you, where were you? What did you contribute? What side were you on? And if you were on the wrong side, they're going to ask you, but it was evident. It was obvious. The results showed it. You came with statistics that is doctored, because I can prove that too. 50 years from now, some kid in a university class is going to take one of my videos as study material to say, this was a white guy that stood with Amazulu, that stood with the poor people of South Africa, that questioned everything. I am proud of every single South African that came out yesterday. I unfortunately couldn't make it because firstly, I got the wrong details about my area, and then secondly, I got the wrong details about the gathering point, and I have family obligations. My family is going through some stuff at the moment. But I am so proud. I am so proud. I am happy that I am on the right side of history, because yesterday made history.
A lot of people don't understand what the South Africans have done for all of us in Africa. The South Africans have shown all of us in Africa that we have every right to set how our country should be. We are the ones that are supposed to determine what it is that we expect out of our country, not for us to actually be clueless about our own countries. Most of us have left our countries and ran to refugee countries, making us actually lose the power that we have. We have every right to set how our country should be driven. We have every right to choose our leaders. We have every right to vote. We have every right to decide what we want for our countries. And that's very nice. So why aren't we Africans also using this opportunity to stand up for ourselves and to stand up for what it is that we want and to negotiate and talk to our governments so that they can understand our demands? South Africans actually set the pace for everyone. South Africans have actually set a standard that as long as we are not happy about what is happening in our countries, we have to stand up and say it. We have to stand up and stand for it. Not violently, not anything like that, just saying and talking to our presidents and telling them what it is that we expect out of our countries. So thank you very much, and I actually stand with you for standing up for your rights and being fearless about your country, looking at the future and asking yourselves, okay, if we don't fight now, that means that our future generations are going to actually be affected by this very same situation. So rather we stand for it now before we pass away and our kids have to face the problem. So let's learn a thing or two from South Africans before we begin with the hatred.